for the Shop Report with
Barbershop Jay.
What up, sports fans? Welcome to the Shop Report special presentation of none other than the Turnbuckle, you degenerates. I, of course, am none other than your host, Creative Control Jay, and my guy, my co-host, to my right, your left, is none other than the man, the myth, the legend. What you mean, Gully? From the Columbus. Talk to me.
Hey, it's Monday night. It's the favorite holiday of the week. I know some of us out there in entertainment land, we love our Monday night North American football, but others of us love the sights, the sounds, the spectacles. That is the squared circle. And that's what we're here to talk tonight about. So let's dive right in, man. It's been a big week, I think.
Yeah, and of course, it of course saddens me that I have to start the show this way, as always. But unfortunately, as you guys can see with the background behind us, that is wanted to certainly recognize the life of WWE Hall of Famer Pete Rose.
Yep, the life and legacy of Pete Rose, and also. Well, let's spend some time on Pete Rose, his valuable contributions to the game. Of course, his most infamous contribution to the game seems to fit all too well in the current sports landscape, being that you've got DraftKings, you got sports books everywhere. You also have fantasy football everywhere, fantasy baseball everywhere. I think he was ahead of his time, and certainly that was held against him. I think that was the excuse to hold against him because he was otherwise a Hall of Fame player. He still is a Hall of Fame player, Hall of Fame entity. And you can't really tell us the story of the Major League Baseball without one Pete Rose. So rest in peace, rest in power for his family. And what do you got to say on that one?
Well, I want to point out, I want to go away from the gambling. I want to, certainly reiterate what he did with the Big Red Machine.
Yeah.
Of course, worth noting, but more importantly, of course, on this P program is what he did with WWE with WrestleMania 14, 15, and 16. And what ultimately made him a WWE Hall of Famer. Something we talk about on both shows, Gully, I brought it up to you a little earlier. Actually, I had this discussion, strangely, during the business hours about athletes and their ability to reinvent themselves.
Yes.
And the struggles often with that. And you get kind of the folks that are like, well, you got a couple $1 million to figure it out. Go cry with those. And then you get the other half that are like, wow, I can really relate. And, so given that he had to, it wasn't until 2004, speaking of the gambling, that he actually came clean, right? Yeah. So this is decades later. And believe it or not, that was after these WrestleManias. Yeah. So he had already attempted to change his own character and his own development. Again, for those that are unfamiliar, in WrestleMania 14, it was you know, he came out when it was Kane and Undertaker and was gloating because it was in Boston, talking about how he beat him. Ultimately was on the receiving end of a tombstone.
Yep.
And then, of course, no hints for name that superstar, but there was a chicken suit that he came out and tried to attack Kane. But this was not just any chicken suit; it was the San Diego chicken. But
Right.
once again, that chicken was cooked.
Right.
And he also got some backshot wind from Rikishi.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, again, speaking of 2004, that's when he was, of course, inducted. So the same year that he actually closes the chapter
Yep.
of his baseball life, he gets enshrined in the WWE Hall of Fame. And I think that is like the ultimate kind of, I don't know, insert verbiage here of just how strange the world works in that respect.
Consolation.
Yeah, at the
The
very
idea
least.
that he needed to be in the Hall of Fame, and they're going to put him in the Hall of Fame. His contributions to wrestling was minimal, though you could say memorable. It was one WrestleMania, 1, 2, 3 WrestleMania. Certainly, you could tell the story of professional wrestling without Pete Rose, but it's in honor of sports entertainments and sports figures, right? That since we in the West, we revere our sports heroes and our entertainments because they create the moments by which we connect with each other, we connect with our families and our friends, and connect with our youth and our past and all of that. So sports does have reverence here in the West. He's worthy of appreciation in the Major League Baseball because of what he did while he was on the field. And you can, whether you want to make excuses or not for what he did and the gambling, if you will, that cost him his due respect. Still, he was still part of sports culture, and he was part of baseball culture, and he was part of the Big Red Machine, one of the storied franchises, one of the storied teams in the story of baseball. And so,
which, if you remember, on one of our commercial breaks, you of course get an opportunity to see another member of one of those championships and a part of that Big Red Machine.
That's correct.
That was, humble enough, humbled us certainly by giving us, a moment of his time as well. So just it reiterates again that don't let something become a life sentence, essentially, and certainly, I'm glad at least, I think a lot of us now, with the way that gambling is, whether it's right or wrong, you guys be the judge of that. But certainly, hopefully, post-mortem, maybe the MLB comes around. We'll see. But I think, as to quote Drake, time heals all, and heels hurt to walk in. And that would be more Oscar De La Hoya, I guess. Yes, and so moving right along, speaking of hurt, and certainly, strangely, or maybe not, in our first, tell me, you did not just say that, belongs none other than to your fave here, Stone Cold. So this tweet comes from Wrestling Purists. Again, this is in the Mr. McMahon docuseries. This is episode 6, and Gully, you might understand why the tie-in there, right?
Right.
So in episode 6, Stone
Oh,
Cold
I have
Steve
not
Austin
seen that episode yet.
says he does not believe in CTE, and to quote, "My take on that has always been, if you're just wrestling and you got a bunch of concussions, you're probably doing something wrong. I'm not a CTE guy. I just don't believe in it.
His statement doesn't make sense. His statement doesn't make sense.
What do you mean it doesn't make sense?
Scroll back up. My take on that has always been that if you just wrestling and you got a bunch of concussions, you're probably doing something wrong. I'm not a CTE guy. I just don't believe in it. Those statements don't connect to each other. I'm not a CTE guy. I don't believe in it. All right, that's fine. But his explanation doesn't explain that at all. It doesn't explain it. What to me, his statement is, if you're just wrestling and you got a bunch of concussions, you're probably doing something wrong. That means you're careless in the ring and you are hurting yourself. That has nothing to do with how CTE could develop and whether it does exist. I don't understand that statement. I would need to see more to understand what he's saying. I don't get it.
Yeah, and again, I thought coincidentally that you had caught that particular episode.
No, I haven't. That's the last episode I have yet to see. However, I know we're about to be talking. If you've watched episode 5, I believe episode 5 does have a lot to do with what we plan on talking about if we get around to it today in today's show.
Fair enough. And so, interestingly enough, I was going to let you potentially go into episode 5 here, again, in a very unscripted manner. My thoughts quickly on Stone Cold are this, as it pertains to his point is correct, right? Like, from the sounds of it, right, as someone that has very limited in-ring ability, first and foremost, and that was learned. I understand his point to an extent, but again, we're also coming from an era like that was inclusive of the Hardys, that was inclusive of Mick Foley, and one that he was a part of. So to suggest that those guys were doing something wrong that led to them having, traumatic brain injuries, I think I don't believe we're taking that part of it out of context. I disagree with his statement there. I do like his approach. I will say that. I love I don't believe in it, so it's not there. I like that positive energy kind of spin on it.
If that's what you think he's saying, I certainly don't think he's saying that. I think this is a confusing statement of causation that he's trying to make, and the dots don't connect to me.
But doesn't that sound like something someone that had head trauma would say?
Nah, because he's too logical otherwise. Yeah. I get you on that one. If it had come from Gary Busey, yeah.
Oh.
But let's talk about butter sausage. Butter sausage, what is it doing? Why is it doing that in my mouth? Get it out of my face.
And with that, we're going to take our first break. No, only kidding. Matter of fact, what instead we're going to talk about is this here that made some headlines and certainly had waves within our own space. There in the Discord, of course, for subscribers, by all means, join and you will gain access to the turnbuckle, in all of its glory.
Hey, what's happening?
Yo, Barbershop Jay, what's
Who
happening?
gave you an invite?
Hey, don't have to need an invite. I invite myself.
you own
I'm not
some
going to
place.
be here
Don't have to need
long.
an invite.
I'm
Don't
not
have
going to
to
be
need
here.
an
Hey,
invite.
can I get it out? I'm not going to be here long. I mean, I don't mean to infringe on nobody's copyrights. I'm just saying. But at the end of the day, I had to interrupt this broadcast. Breaking news. Let me do it again.
His sound effects work.
This is not the sky is falling. It is not WWE related, but I'm over here having a discussion with my oldest son right now, who's about to be put out and sent to Double J's house to stay for the rest of his life.
He can't. Double J over there referring to hens, so he can't stay up there.
Yeah, well, he'll come stay with you, Gully, but he coming to stay with you getting out of here. Okay, you ain't got to go home or stay home, but you can get out of here. He gonna tell me that Deshaun Jackson, excuse me, wouldn't beat Jeff Teague or whoop up on Jeff Teague in a basketball match. That's what he just told me.
Say that what?
What?
Exactly. That's what I said when he said it. He said, "Oh, there's no way in the world Deshaun Jackson could get with Jeff Teague on the hoops tip."
Whoa. Where? Okay, give us a little bit more context. How did we get here?
We got here because I had to come in here because I was just out there and he said something crazy.
You literally just walked by him and that just was
exactly. Well, you don't know.
Hey, son, I mean, that's like getting T-boned on a green light.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what then. Since y'all don't want to believe me, I'm gonna bring him on here. You can say it for yourself. I don't mean to interrupt you. I know y'all was going, lights out, Buzz Lightyear up in here, but this got to be rectified because this is ridiculous. Okay, whoever out there watching, I'm gonna send him to come live with y'all too. I'm gonna be right back.
This is fantastic.
Whoa. Surprise, right?
See what happens when you subscribe, folks? You get to crash the party.
Yes, crash the party. So, so while we wait for context to be delivered.
That's right.
Shane McMahon in yet another sighting with AEW talent in AEW proximity, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So the Mr. McMahon documentary, which is, I guess I've seen articles or opinions and context. Hold on, I'll hold that one till later. What's up?
Shout out to Gully. Shout out to Double J.
What up, man?
Sir.
What up,
What's
though?
going on?
What's happening? Too long.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm back right quick for a quick second. Barbershop Jay put me on right quick. I'm assuming he told y'all what I just said.
Yeah, I didn't make sure I need to hear this. What did you say?
Right.
Well, a little bit of trash talk was involved. Specifically, I said that Deshaun Jackson couldn't guard Jeff Teague. Now, the quote is not mine. I will say that. It was Lou Williams' podcast. I did Barbershop Jay get younger. That's funny. It was Lou Williams' podcast, and Lou Williams defended his boy, Jeff Teague, saying that Deshaun could not guard Jeff Teague. And as a hooper, I admit it might be a little bit biased. That's okay. I said, yeah, no. He couldn't. Yeah, no. I don't care how athletic you are. You're not. Some about hoopers, man, and no disrespect to football players, but, they can't guard us. They can't. I'm living proof.
Wait, why does he think that Deshaun Jackson could hold down Jeff Teague?
That's a great question.
Yes, he did. He got the filter wrong. He got that filter.
Why does he think so? I can't speak for him, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
Yeah,
I would say because he's a football player. Here he is. Here he is.
What is it going on?
You're lying right now.
Let me
what you saying, bro?
Let me explain something.
Yeah, clarification as yourself.
See,
I'm out.
Barbershop Jay, he'll tell you in his youth, he was blessed with athleticism. Right.
Yes.
That gene skipped me. All right.
Oh.
I was born.
Hey,
I was
a
skinny kid.
Skip to my loot too.
Oh, brother. I was a skinny kid.
Man,
always been thin.
This ain't the yellow brick road.
So,
what you mean? You think Snow White and the 18 dwarfs? What you talking about?
Dwarf.
Glass slippers.
What's a
I ain't
dwarf?
buying it.
Ask him what a dwarf is.
This is
Define dwarf.
fantastic.
I'm just playing. So, when I say these things, I'm saying it off of real life experiences. I always had to play with people that were bigger than me, stronger than me, whatever. I had to figure it out. Is what I'm saying. And from my experience with football players specifically, no, and I mean this in the most respectful way possible, none of them could stay in front of me. So in my mind, a skinny kid with no athleticism, you put in an NBA guard, a professional, you know what I'm saying, against a professional in his sport too.
Yeah.
As a hooper, and I admit I might be biased, I got to go with the professional in basketball. I just have to every time, and I will every time. So, Gully, if you have to spit you Double J, spit y'all wisdom to me. Maybe I don't know.
So wait. I need to know why he's saying that Deshaun Jackson could guard Jeff Teague.
Barbershop J, we need you right now. We need you right now. Gully said, "Come here right now."
Oh, he put words in my face.
He ain't say that. I'm trolling. He said
I already
he
know.
needs
I already
to
know whose side he on. I already know whose side he on.
What?
No.
No.
He needs to
Say
know.
it. No, say the it. No,
whatever that is.
He said he needs to know why you think Deshaun Jackson could stay in front of Jeff Teague.
Because the same reason I just explained it to you. Everybody's looking at the sport that Deshaun Jackson played, but they're not looking at the fact that the individual himself played a multitude of sports all the way from the youngster level, all the way up through high school and all the way before he got to college. Just because you chose football don't mean you can't guard no basketball player when you did it on the way up. Antonio Gates, Bubba Chuck, and all the rest of them dudes. Listen,
all right, you just named.
Hold on, what I'm trying to tell you. Jeff Teague's only sport was basketball, is what I'm trying to tell you. And just because Deshaun Jackson played football don't mean that in a pickup game, because we've seen celebrity games during the All-Star seasons in the 80s and the 90s and such. They used to have them celebrity games, and people would say, oh, man, you know what, man? This dude, he a rapper, but he can really hoop. J. Cole and all them other cats. Stop trying to minimize it to the sport that this guy plays currently, to say because he playing football and the other guy playing basketball, because he can't.
I'm telling you right now.
I ain't trying to hear it. Goodbye.
I'm telling you right now.
Goodbye.
Wait a minute. Does he want to listen to the original clip? Because I have the original clip here from Entirely NBA is my guess.
Bring
Please
the clip.
do. Please hold on. Double J got the full clip right here, Barbershop J. I think you need to tune in right quick.
All right, so I'm going to refresh this thing, and then I'm going to get the audio going.
Okay.
Jeff Teague could stop me 5 times out of 5, nigga, in one-on-ones, and I'm the receiver, and he got to be the DB. You're crazy. But I could go on the court right now, and I'm at least going to score a bucket or 2 on Cuz, for sure.
I disagree. It's different being in the water with that shark, seeing him on Discovery Channel. what's your shit with Jeff?
Jeff, he cool, but I seen him play too much. I'm like, Cuz doing that, bro. I could play in the NBA.
Not if Jeff Teague is your example. Jeff Teague will bust your ass.
I didn't say that. I'm just saying, at the end of the day, if he could do that, being him, I know I could go be in the NBA.
No.
If I train how I
if
train in the NFL,
you feel like you
can
be in the NBA, cool. But I can't let you sit here and say I feel like I could be in the NBA because Jeff Teague in the NBA. Hell no. Peyton Pritchard in Boston will eat your lunch,
like
DJ.
5'11",
He's a 5'8" white boy.
If you telling me right now, Jeff Teague could stop me 5 times out of 5, nigga, in one-on-ones, and I'm the receiver, and he got to be the DB, you're crazy. But I could go on the court right.
Yeah, stop the clip.
I told him.
Get out, man.
I told him.
Get out, bro. Get out.
I told him. Man, this is, I don't know if it's a Hooper's thing.
I'm like, listen, because here's the thing. Right, this is where we had to standardize it. Because if you're saying, could he stop him at all?
Mm-hmm.
Then the context is, then we're not talking about the same conversation. The idea of it is, can he stop him 5 out of 5? I don't know that Jeff Teague is going to get 5 out of 5 on him. I don't know that Jeff Teague is going to get him 5 out of 5 times.
That's fair.
But what I can say is 2 out of 3, 2 out of 5 is doing very well for Jeff Teague, for Deshaun Jackson.
I agree.
Now, Gully, why do you say that? Why did you even go as far as to say 2, bro?
Let's let Deshaun Jackson and Jeff Teague play basketball one-on-one.
Jeff Teague is frying him. Easy.
He's not.
Yes, he is. He's frying him. Gully, Double J, no disrespect to you.
Hold on. Barbershop Jay is saying Jeff Teague is going to cook. I'm sorry, Deshaun Watson's going to cook.
Let me ask you this. Have you ever seen Myles Garrett play basketball? Have you ever seen Myles Garrett play basketball?
In front of me, I'm frying him.
That's to
and I mean that in the most respectful way possible.
Julius Peppers played at Michigan State and was a dog.
That's
Antonio Gates played at Kent State and was Trevor Hoffman. I mean, with Hoffman.
Bro, I seen what's his face from Golden State, Draymond, try to play tight end, and dude couldn't. He looked like he was trying to hug, the Clump, Professor Clump, to catch a ball.
Hey,
no.
I'm gonna tell. Let me say it like this. I done seen more basketball players not be able to go back to playing basketball than I've seen football players not keep going on playing basketball.
Bro, listen.
I
You
ain't
put a
trying to hear
football
it.
player in front of a hooper is gonna fry him, bro. This is what we do, bro.
Okay. I'll tell you what.
There's a completely
only
different
exception
level of
maybe is
shot
Hold on.
here.
You saying that about Deshaun Jackson like you don't like his name been other football players. Put Julius Peppers in front of Jeff Teague.
Okay, I'll give
And
you
he-
that.
Yeah, Julius Peppers in front of Jeff Teague. Come on. Put Julius Peppers in front of Westbrook.
What he say?
He said put Julius Peppers in front of Russell Westbrook.
And I'm putting Julius Peppers in front of it.
Put a 6'5" in front of a 6'5".
Listen, bruh. At the end of the day, it is ludicrous. For this conversation is ludicrous.
No, it's not.
It's ludicrous.
Not at all.
No,
Not at all,
no
because-
How
football
do
player.
you
Man.
think? Because he has
say no
straight
football
line
players
speed that he has.
Maybe an offensive lineman, maybe.
No.
Okay, these two specifically, though, is what I'm saying.
Okay,
Deshaun
I'm
is
telling you
not
right now,
standing in front
Deshaun
of Jeff
Jackson
Teague,
would
bro.
not. Listen,
No, he would
where
not,
is
bro.
Jeff Teague at? On the point guards that you've seen growing up, where would you list Jeff Teague at?
Where's Sean Livingston at? What you saying?
No,
Just because Sean Livingston not in the picture, I mean he a bum.
No, you just said Jeff Teague. We said we only talk about these two.
All right, we can talk about
Okay, then.
Hey, of my era,
Of your era.
you put him at top 60. Who cares?
Okay,
Point
then
is,
I'm
he's
taking Deshaun
frying
Jackson.
Deshaun. That's what I'm
taking
saying.
Deshaun Jackson.
So,
Deshaun
did
Jackson.
Deshaun guard Sean Livingston?
Absolutely.
Oh no, he's delusional. He's delusional. He's there. Yeah, he's delusional.
Right.
I'm sorry. I don't know what it is. And shout out Herm if you're watching Herm. I got love for both sports, respect for both sports. In my opinion, if you step on the field with a helmet on, you got my respect because that's gladiator life.
Hey, Braun. Breaking news: Braun is hurt.
Braun who?
Braun Strowman is hurt.
Braun Strowman is hurt, Jay. You might want to read up on that. All right.
I mean, I don't know if it's kayfabe or not, but he is hurt. He needed to run the turnbuckle and slam him, and he couldn't do it. He couldn't run. He is hurt. Something happened to Braun Strowman.
What do you mean? I see him right. I see. Bronson
Yeah,
Reed.
you didn't see him. Look, the spot was Big Bronson Reed on the ropes. He can't run.
Man, they're both doing
No.
the Chris Paul power walk.
No, he can't. No. Braun Strowman is hurt. He is hurt bad. I don't know how they're gonna finish this match.
Barbershop Jay, why don't you care, man? I'm very curious.
Yeah, Braun Strowman is hurt. I'm telling you like this. Here's the spot. The spot was Bronson Reed is on the ropes on the outside of, let's say, the left turnbuckle. Okay, so the left rope. He's on the outside of it, on the ring, on the apron, outside on the rope. The spot was there were a bunch of chairs at ringside. The spot was supposed to be Braun would run off the ropes, run to the right side, come off the ropes, and then hit him with an elbow and knock him down on the chairs and knock Bronson Reed from the apron, from ringside onto the chairs, okay? Braun tried to run, and he can't do it. He couldn't run. He's hurt.
Well, you just put him through a table.
Yeah, like Braun is hurt. Braun Strowman is hurt bad.
So I'm going to
What
just
did
throw this out there,
say?
Barbershop Jay. I'm going to give you a quote here from Paul George. I don't think a football player could cross over to the NBA, George said. Our game is completely skilled. For me, I think NFL guys, to be able to play in the league, they got to be a HE hockey sticks of a shooter, right? Otherwise, we're not going to guard you. That athleticism, that strength, that means nothing if you can't shoot the ball in our league. I think that there's really good guys that have played both. You think about Julius Peppers, you think about Tony Gonzalez.
How
They
about
are
the guys
tight
who
ends.
actually did it? How about how about Charlie Ward?
Hey,
Hang on, I wasn't done with
first
the
of all,
quote.
don't tell me
Wasn't
nothing
done with the
Paul
quote.
George said, okay?
Whoa.
You should have canceled yourself on that.
Whoa. Is
'Cause,
Paul George not an all-star?
Listen, I don't care what Paul George. You
Paul
can come
George
up-
not
listen,
an all-star?
I don't care. Paul George's an all-star, but guess what? In the playoffs, Paul George didn't always show up. Okay?
All right, so what?
I
Oh
say
yeah,
consider the
hey, so
source.
tell
I don't
me
want
this.
to hear
Tell me
what
this
Paul.
here.
Don't tell me
Tell me
that
this here.
Paul.
Tell
I
me
hear
this
this,
here.
right?
Tell me this
Double
here.
J, I'm with
Tell me
you.
this
Shout out
here.
Double
All
J.
right, hold on,
Everybody.
hold on. So
Paul
we
George,
got
everybody
you.
wrote-
Since he
and then
said
Paul
this,
George had the nerve to say.
since he
after
said
the
this,
fact, he
since
had
he
the
said
nerve
this,
to
tell me
say
this.
after he left
Tell me
LA,
this.
Yeah, that was a
Okay,
bad situation.
so
You
what
do
did
that going
Antonio
in.
Gates
I
do?
don't
What
want to hear
did
nothing. Don't tell me
Antonio
nothing about
Gates
Paul
do with
George.
Kent
Hold on,
State in the Sweet
I don't want to hear
16?
nothing Gully saying either.
He said, "Oh, what did Antonio
Oh, with Kent
Gates do?"
State?
Yeah, what did Antonio Gates do
Exactly,
with
Antonio Gates. Anyway, Gully, be quiet. I don't want to
He
hear
said,
nothing.
"What did he do?"
Actually,
he-
that
he-
was
he-
we had Chaka on.
Listen, go look
Chaka
it
played
up.
with
You seen
Antonio
in the NCAA
Gates.
tournament. Double J
Oh,
is the
yeah.
analytical guy. He's seen
Bruh.
it in the NCAA tournament.
Bruh.
Anyway, Double
Point
J.
is, football players cannot hang with hoopers, bro.
Okay, that's a
It's
generic-
a different thing when you, like
that's a
Allen Iverson
generic.
said.
That's a generic statement.
No, it's
That's a
not.
generic
When
statement.
you on that island, it's a
Anyway.
different feeling. Anybody in front of me is getting fried, bro.
Okay, anyway, you said
Your
that now.
athleticism,
You
who
said that
cares?
right now, but guess what?
Bruh.
You're in pajamas. Anyway,
What does that mean?
at the end of the day.
How does that correlate?
Okay, anyway, at the end of the day.
Jay, you gotta understand.
This show
something,
needs to
gang.
be canceled.
Basketball is about putting the ball in the basket, bro. Basketball is about putting, like I said before, basketball is about putting the ball in the basket. Who cares that you can run fast? Who cares that you're superstar? Who cares? The point is, even if you stop me from scoring, you're not gonna score. So I guess you're just sitting here then. That's what's gonna happen. You're not. I don't care who you are. Matter of fact, Cam Newton could come to my house tomorrow. Yeah, let's play 1-on-1. My broken wrist and all. Let's play. I'm frying him. No disrespect, Cam. Shout out Cam. Like your game, by the way. You know what I mean? Just saying. Just saying. Hoopers are different. That's what it
He's
is.
frying Cam Newton.
But see, to your point, he says they are tight ends who have made great transitions, whether it's basketball to football or football to basketball. I'm not saying that guys can't play at a high level, but I think as far as playing in the NBA, I don't think there's a chance. Imagine if Bron was in the NFL. Who to bleep is stopping Bron? Imagine Russ Westbrook, 6'3", 6'4", built, fast as bleep. Russ could play safety. I think guys in the NBA could make that transition. I think they could. I could have played wide receiver. Yeah. Again, we've seen multiple dual sport athletes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But from the sounds of things, it is a lot easier. Someone that's played both, myself, it is easier to play football than it is. There's a lot more breaks. I hated that, especially having a soccer background where you don't stop for 45 minutes. I always felt like that was the biggest faux pas for me on just modern American football is that you get a break every 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And yes, that allows you to go quick. And yes, you still need endurance and all of that type of thing, but it's a different type of skill. And so I get his point that he's trying to make, that if I had to say one were easier to do, it absolutely. There's a reason why Allen Iverson was a quarterback. We saw highlights of LeBron James in high school playing football.
Yep.
To say he couldn't have gone to Ohio State and played something, I would have argued you'd be just maybe for our host. He might have said no, that's not possible. But for everyone else with a pair of eyes would have said yes, he looked like he absolutely could have and done very well over there. So my question to you both is why is he so convinced? Is it just the disdain? If you were to say in the 80s.
It's because he said Jeff Teague.
I was gonna say.
Where's his
Gully.
hate for Jeff Teague all of a sudden?
Thank you, Barbershop Jay.
Yeah, it's because he said Jeff Teague. He said, like, I don't think that Deshaun Jackson is holding down many other elites. Like, I don't know. Let's do this one. Is Deshaun Jackson? Let me clarify because I want to make sure that we get it right when we go to the reels.
I'm still not sure what he thinks
is
down here.
Deshaun Jackson stopping Chris Paul?
No, Chris Paul's gonna cook him. He's gonna look like Skip to my Lou.
See what I'm bring him back in here.
Perfect. I love y'all, man. Thank you. Barbershop Jay, get in here now, please. Request your services right now. I don't think you can hear me. Let me text him.
He's gonna bust through the door WWE style.
I don't know. Is it because that's my thing? Is it the player we're talking about, the caliber player? Because okay, Jeff Teague, people forget, was an all-star at one point. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a one-time all-star, but he was one. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I'm saying, okay, you're not top 10, top 20, top 30. Who cares? I'm talking about in a certain scenario, these two specifically. And I would take Lou Williams as a person with a credible source. Lou say, no, I can't let you say that. You know what I mean? And now if it was like Gully said, Chris Paul, I think everybody's answer is absolutely not. But why is it? I don't think it's a debate, period. In my opinion, Jeff Teague he was at one point he was nice. So, why can't we give him the benefit of the doubt?
Yeah. He just keep leaving. He keep punching and then leaving. But he can come back in here. Let's get back to this, and we gonna catch up with him in a little while.
All right, y'all.
All right,
Good.
I'm
Yeah, you
removing
might be
myself.
out of hot air. You might.
Hey, shout out Double J, shout out Gurley. You know what I mean, for
Yeah.
spitting facts over feelings at all
Appreciate
times.
it. Yep, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Facts over
Always.
feelings.
All right, so I'll check back in with y'all.
All right now.
Sounds
All right.
good.
Yep.
Please.
All right. Well, welcome back, everybody.
We interrupt the Shop Report special presentation of the Turnbuckle with some classic traditional Shop Report speak.
Absolutely.
That's fine with me.
Right. And
I think we were about to talk about Shane McMahon and yet another appearance with AEW talent and the correlation between that, in my opinion, yes, with episode. Yeah,
we just happen to be on the same flight.
right. Nah, I think I think things are coming together, and I think if anyone's watched the Mr. McMahon documentary, you'll understand why this is more likely to happen than not. Why Shane McMahon to AEW is more likely to happen than not.
Did you just happen to see, like, I'm just trying to see what you just said, and then I see a mountain of people, like.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think Braun powered through it. I think he really hurt, but I did just see a whole bunch of dominoes fall. I want to see how he gets up.
Yeah, keep an eye on this one. But in the moment, I'm intrigued. I agree. I don't believe in coincidences anyway.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's limping like crazy. That looks like either hopefully just a hamstring, not a.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
Because I'm trying to watch his knee bend. Can he bend? Can he really bend the knee?
Right.
And
he's trying to find a way to get up there. Is he about to? Yeah, he's powering through this match.
Nope.
Let's see. I think he's gonna try it with his knee. Let's see. I don't know which one. I think it's the right one.
That's. Well, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Hit with a chair.
Yeah. I think they're improvising. Yep. He's taking the spot. I think he wasn't supposed to take it. I think Bronson Reed was supposed to take it.
Wow.
See, this is the thing about modern wrestling. Like, a lot of this, man, okay, there we go. Sell me on it being a bit of a struggle. I know he got to help set you up for it, but yeah, sell me on it.
Oh! It happened. Dude, I called it a week ago.
It had to happen. It was supposed to happen.
What do you mean it was supposed to happen? Don't take this away from me. Don't rob me of this.
I'm not robbing you from this, but it's a last man standing match. It's the two largest competitors on the active roster. It's going to happen.
This is fantastic.
Yeah. It's a great moment though. I mean, anytime a ring breaks, it's you get this, like, if you're watching it live, if you're watching it live, you'll see.
Who is this?
Anytime.
Oh!
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh! What? Why? Why?
What am I doing out here, Bret Hart?
Yes. What is that? What am I doing out there? Yo, he hurt, man.
Wow. Welcome, everybody, of course, watching on Twitter or X. Again, for those, you can find us here, as you see, off on the right side of this screen there, live on X. You will see us also on the other social platforms such as YouTube and Facebook as well.
And Twitch, WYM
That's
Gully
right.
on Twitch. And
Go ahead and shout that out as well, Gully.
Yeah.
What's the handle?
Man, Handel's ice cream is really good. I don't know if y'all had that in the Midwest. Oh, that ain't what you said. WYM Gully.
There it is.
What you mean, Gully? WYM Gully.
So again, welcome everybody that is just again changing the next program from the USA at the conclusion of Raw and turning it over to Raw Talk and the Turnbuckle with us. Certainly, by all means, please provide your insights on what you guys just witnessed as well. I think right away that was fantastic. Of course, we're diving also into this myriad of conspiracies, that is Shane O'Mac wanting nothing to do with AEW. Yeah, right. And yet ends up on the same flight, first class.
Yeah. Listen. Shane McMahon left WWE in 2013, 2014, right?
Yeah.
For anyone who's followed Mr. McMahon's documentary on Netflix, you'll understand there's a reason why Shane McMahon left. Without giving anything away, Shane McMahon left WWE 2013, 2014. And as far as being integral, as far as the integral part of the business, Stephanie McMahon has seemingly been more front-facing in terms of the camera, in terms of the business. Mrs. McMahon, Stephanie being a character as well in the WWE universe, as well as being in charge of things behind the scenes. More so than Shane was after Shane McMahon kind of stopped wrestling, after the Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression Era, aside from those one-off matches he had, including the great match that he had with The Undertaker at WrestleMania. But Stephanie McMahon has been more active, seemingly more active in WWE and behind the scenes in WWE than Shane McMahon has in later and more recent years. There's reason for that. With the dark cloud that surrounds Vince McMahon, Shane McMahon seems, well, two things. With the dark cloud surrounding Vince McMahon as a person, with Stephanie being heavily involved in WWE actively, Shane McMahon is poised and primed to get himself into the wrestling business in a way that we felt he always was a part of. How do you do that? By having your own venture to manage and to build and to take to new heights. So all of this that we see with Shane McMahon, the hints, the jabs, not the jabs, but the hints and the Easter eggs are just primer for the unveiling in sometime in the future of Shane McMahon taking a foothold in AEW. It's like almost destiny.
But how does that relate to the show? Specifically to the show that you're referring to. Where was the tie-in there?
Episode 5. Watch episode 5. Hold on. I want to make sure I got that right. I believe episode 5 tells us what we need to know. Let me make sure of that. Yeah, I think it's episode 5. When we talk about the dynamic between Shane and Vince and the correlation between the relationship that Shane and Vince have.
I'm not here to make your
the correlation between the relationship that Shane and Vince have versus the correlation between Vincent Kennedy McMahon and Vincent McMahon Sr. You'll find it there. Let me make sure that I want to say it was that one. Bam. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see here. Yeah, it's definitely episode 5. Family business.
Okay. And so walk us through that for those that haven't seen it.
I wanted to give people a opportunity if they hadn't seen it. Wanted to tell them, so that way I didn't spoil it for them. But Shane McMahon, much like Vince wanted with the WWE that he purchased from his father, in part because he wanted to be in the business and had a passion for the wrestling business, similar to his father, but really wanted to be a part of it, wanted to own it, wanted to take creative control and build it to what it was, which is what Vincent K. McMahon has done. Shane has similar aspirations. The idea of it is Vince wanted to be the guy for his father, whether his father wanted it or not. And he became that guy. But now, so long as Vince is that guy, he's not looking for progeny. He's not looking for legacy. Stephanie McMahon will never be to the WWE what Vincent McMahon is. So her place in the business is kind of already kind of spoken for. And I'm saying this in Vince McMahon's eyes, in my opinion. So she can always help to further the vision that Vince McMahon has for the business, for the product itself, and for the brand itself. Stephanie will be an extension of what Vince McMahon's vision for the WWE is. Shane McMahon is the second coming of Vince McMahon. He wants to take the business and run with it and take it to new heights, ultimately taken in different directions than Vince McMahon. Stephanie is in complement to Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Shane is in contrast. Therefore, Shane won't ever get the business the same way Stephanie would. Shane won't have access. Shane won't be greeted that way. That's what the episode 5 of Family Business helps to illustrate, helps to paint that picture. So since WWE in its current state is in the hands of Stephanie and others, including Hunter, including TKO Enterprises, but Shane is locked out of that in a sense. Because what Shane would want to do from the business, again, is in contrast to Vince McMahon's vision. Vince McMahon's vision for the business is actually so solid and so clear, I think, that even though Vince McMahon, the person, is toxic, his vision for sports entertainment is not. So they'll just do what Vince would. They will probably take his vision and maybe put their flavor on it, but still move WWE in the way that Vince McMahon probably would without having Vince there as a toxic character, right? Again, Stephanie is in complement to Vince's vision. Shane is in contrast. So since Shane is in contrast, and all Shane wanted to do is what Vince did for Vincent Sr., he can't do that with the product that Vince McMahon created. I'll go and do it elsewhere because I too have a vision. I too have a passion for professional wrestling. And I believe I know ideas, or I have ideas, or I have a vision for where professional wrestling can go and the heights it can go. I can't do that in WWE anymore. So why not do it with the next big thing? Something that has proven itself to be a sustainable product. That is AEW.
Interesting.
It's all, it kind of goes back. I feel like I'm saying what you said weeks ago when we first talked about this.
Really?
Yeah, and I didn't disagree with you at all, but watching the documentary all but reaffirms that. All but reaffirms what you had. I think we have both, if not myself, certainly you did, what we articulated weeks ago. Shane loves professional wrestling the way Vince does. Shane thought he would be the guy to take it over, right? You know, I mean, how many mafia movies do we see where the guy in charge, though he knows he's aging, isn't ready to let it go? It doesn't want to let it go. It doesn't want to he doesn't want to do business. But in the words of one Paul Levesque, if he doesn't want to do business, we'll do business for him.
Yeah, so I mean, again, I never quite understood, you know, when you think of the takeover and in the role that Shane, like, I remember watching Who Killed WCW and seeing Shane there at the final Monday Nitro.
Yes.
It bewilders me to this day how someone who was clearly that involved, entrusted so much to be there. Like, it wasn't Stephanie there. It wasn't Paul Levesque. It wasn't, anyone else. It was Shane.
Right.
How, like, there had to have been, and again, those in the comments, please, by all means, enlighten me, for those that remember, what part of this, what detail I'm missing on why it became Stephanie. Yeah, she was there, but Shane should have been the first in line, and I'm not sure. I can't remember somewhere along the way where Shane stepped aside.
I'm telling you, you got to watch the episode. I don't want to get it away because you know why? The reason why I don't want to give it away is because on my best day, I couldn't articulate it as well as one Paul Heyman articulated. He outlined it. He outlined it. And so that's why I don't want to take his words and I don't want to even paraphrase. It's worth hearing an orator master, a master raconteur say this. So I don't want to say it the way he said it. I don't even want to try it. But
Are you talking about that one, like what TJ posted in the Discord?
What did he post?
It was Paul Heyman's rant on Vince that took place in the ring and basically suggesting how Vince stole his dream.
No, not that part.
Okay.
Not that part. It was something else. It comes down to the point where Shane is going to take sports entertainment or professional wrestling in a different direction than Vince saw fit.
I see. Okay. And you know what's interesting about that? Let me just stop you there without going any further into any other details about that. If you look at the current landscape, do you feel like the direction Shane was going to take it would actually have fit where we're headed or where we are?
Yes.
Really? Okay. Fantastic. How so?
Yes. So the problem is Vince didn't. Remember, for as much as Vince has moved professional wrestling into the forefront of American culture, of American sports or American entertainment culture or pop culture, there are things that Vince McMahon had done separate from the allegations. We're talking about the product itself that were missteps. Okay? Remember, the reason why WCW flourished in that time, the reason why they had the 83 weeks is because they decided to push the button on realism when WWE was giving an antiquated model of cartoon characters. For as much as Vince McMahon says, I built Hulk Hogan, his answer to building Hulk Hogan was to make more Hulk Hogans. And it didn't work. Right? These are some of the missteps that Vince McMahon had, that Vince McMahon made while being the leader, if you will, by being the ultimate visionary of sports entertainment. Okay, he wasn't the first with realism. His competition was, until he had to. Now, what he did was he was the first at, I think, allowing himself to actually be, he played himself in the sense of, this is my show starring me, with me playing me. He did fully allow the heel to manifest, and it was a level of realism that not even WCW could copy, because those guys were really friends, right? Scott Hall was really there to do business. Kevin Nash was there to do business. There was some realism there, I think, but there were characters. Like, who did they really not like? Were they really not likable? Probably to some guys, but they could do business. Vince McMahon knew. Remember, again, he said on the night after the Montreal Screwjob, he said that Brett screwed Brett, and he meant that. He dove into the more to his character flaws, or his and put that on stage and created a level of realism. But again, he wasn't the first to do that. When they got to the Attitude Era and we got to the misogyny, right? There's sex appeal and then there's misogyny. When we got to the real misogynistic moments of WWE programming, Vince McMahon was part of that. I'm gonna tell you, even as an adolescent kid, I was not a fan of that. I felt it was like cheap. I felt it was cheap. I felt it was corny, and I felt it was like it was obvious. Like, there are special stations for that type of activity, and in my house they were scrambled. You know what I'm saying? And so you know what I mean? But so for me, I wasn't there to watch that for that. You know what I'm saying? Other people dove into that. That was cool. But I couldn't get into that. I wanted to actually see women wrestle who actually wrestled. I wanted to see, like, you know, there was a bit of it. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to see Lita doing, you know what I'm saying, doing the moonsault. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to see Jacqueline actually get out there and wrestle. You know, that was for me. But in the Attitude Era, you got very little of that. Instead, you got what you got. Then you have the interesting dynamic of bringing Sable in to do exactly what she had sued the company for prior to her return, which was genius in one hand, but kind of sinister in another and confusing on a third level.
Right.
So these are some of the missteps that Vince McMahon has while being the champion for the product, for the business of sports entertainment, for of professional wrestling. Shane McMahon has a different vision. And he tried to express it, I'm thinking he tried to express it. And he couldn't get it out. So he figured, okay, I'll have to leave because there is nowhere else I can go. And there's nowhere else to take the business if we don't move in this direction that I think we should. And so he left. And now upon his return, after seeing that the landscape has changed, right? There's new ownership in the building. There's a new sheriff in town. Now, season that he does feel like, hey, I have a vision for the business that I want to do for the one that pretty much has my name on it, WWE or WWF, or however you want to call it. I still, to this day, and I think for the rest of my life, I'm still going to associate it with Vince McMahon. So let me go home and do this. Let me make it a home brew, and let me go home and do this here. I can't, but now you're free. This house ain't yours no more. You know what I'm saying? The childhood house you've been evicted from, and it's been foreclosed, and there are new owners here. Yes, you have the same address, and it's been the address that you have, and you know all the shortcuts to get to in or out the neighborhood, but it's not your home anymore. You want to go and build your home and build a home. You think you should have a sun deck here, and you think you should have the living room should look like this, and you think the window should be positioned here, and you think it should have this type of furniture, you should have this type of kitchen, you should have this bath, and you want to do it in a home you grew up in, but it's not yours. It doesn't belong to the family anymore. So, do I think I have a vision for a home, my dream home? Yes, I have to do it somewhere else. That's what I think Shane McMahon is realizing. The dream is undeniable and it's attainable. I want to do it. I'm going to go somewhere else and do it.
Wow. And you know what? That's going to be really interesting to see how it plays out. As you've heard me state on many occasions, I'm not only absolutely all for it, I think it's actually a great fit for Tony Khan and basically allowing Shane to serve as his version of TKO.
Yes.
Because again, what the direction that we see this thing going, that type of innovation, it's what's really interesting to me is Vince was able to elevate this in a way, and that's why if you do get a chance, go back to the Discord, go look at what TJ posted on the Turnbuckle side, because you hear Paul Heyman reference it, that he had turned his back on the regional promotions in the agreement that his dad had made.
Yes.
And to me, this is another example of, in many ways, not just that Vince was willing to do that, but Vince had the foresight, right? This is something we ultimately praised him on, and maybe not us individually, but certainly in order to be able to accomplish what he did from a business vantage point, it took a lot of innovation, and it surprises me. And now I've never been fortunate or blessed enough to have that pile of cash and maybe enough yes men around me to entertain that type of innovation and say no to it.
Yeah.
Because to me, that is why generationally, certainly, ultimately it ended well, right? With the sale and that type of thing. But it'll be one of those things that I think Shane to AEW would be a mutually beneficial move. and I think it would help Tony a lot
Yes,
in the areas that they really need it most.
I think so. I think that does, to have someone who's been in places you'd like to go. That's Shane, who understands how to manage an asset of this magnitude. That's also Shane, from the perspective of a father being cautiously optimistic of his son. That is Shane. So having someone to understand Tony, his unique position, that is Shane. All of it makes sense. I hope it at this point. I hope it happens. Why? Because I don't know that we would ruin professional wrestling. I don't know that they would overtake WWE. But think of it this way. Think of it this way. Do we really like Matt in NFL 2025?
What do you mean?
Do we really like it? As a culture, or we play it because it is the one aspect, it's the one sports sim, professional football sports sim out there. And its competition is the one college sports sim out there. Do you remember NCAA Game Breaker or NFL Game Day? And
I mean, I remember Joe Montana's version.
Right. So there was, at a point, there were so many derivatives. It was a bit. After a while,
NFL Blitz.
Yeah. Now Blitz was
NFL Street.
Blitz and Street. Okay, arcade games. But what I'm saying is, competition of any type allows things to flourish. Let me be more concise of what we're talking about. All right, before there were the Monday Night Wars, there was still Monday Nitro and Monday Night Raw. Right? When do we talk about the Monday Night Wars?
When?
Yeah.
Okay, hang on, we got a comment here.
Oh yeah, talking about
Detroit fan man, what a game! Nice to see the offense finally wake up.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Seahawks.
Correct. He's definitely talking about the Lions. They closed it out. I watched those last two possessions there quickly. I needed about 9 more PPR points from Jackson Smith and Jigba, so that interception in the end zone made me kind of want to dry heave and take a break. But 0-4 I go. Come back, Christian McCaffrey. Come back. Please come back.
Hey, man. Achilles tendonitis in both legs?
Bro, I just need you to give me one more year. That's all. Then drive off into the sunset with your $50 million or whatever you made.
That's terrible, man.
His girlfriend Olivia something? You got one of those Olivias?
Olivia Nunn?
Is that who it is?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't think he's losing off the field, Gully. I think he's got someone that can rub the Voltaren on.
Hey, whoa. Whoa, you gotta prepare me before you say whoa. Rub the what? Wait, I'm out.
For those that don't know, that is an arthritis gel.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, you better sure you spell it correctly. Okay. Or go to your browser in safe mode. All right. That's about the only thing.
Man. No incognito mode necessary here on the Shop Report After Dark.
All right.
Not yet, at least.
Yeah. Voltaren. All right, I bet.
But
I didn't know that was her name. Never mind.
Now, what was no, that was Soraya, right? Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, back to Shane. No, just simply put, I do look forward to it being official. I don't know what the red tape is that's kind of taking so long. Again, we've now seen both entities. I think there's a lot of business strategy that needs to go into this thing. As we've discussed, there's a lot of opportunity for AEW. to just simply fill the void that's going to be left from WWE. I understand what the TKO board is attempting to do.
What is that?
Which is essentially to just replicate the model, allow a maximum profitability, right? And what that ultimately means is, okay, why do we have to go? Why does the circus have to go to town? Well, it really doesn't, right? It did in the 1970s and 80s.
Yeah.
It doesn't today. And that's true. But if you're a growing brand, as we know, those house shows in Evansville, Indiana, or certainly, as we've heard, those great shows in Altoona, Pennsylvania, those matter to the casual fan.
Mm-hmm.
But we actually, not so much breaking news, but in the last week, we've also been, if you've caught on or noticed within the scheduling, the post that holiday tour that would also include a date at Madison Square Garden, that's not there anymore.
Oh, right.
And if you want to know, are things changing?
Yeah.
The answers are overwhelmingly resounding yes.
Yes. Yep.
When you take away something that would have been deemed part of the core or nucleus of the, I don't think it's fair to say the old regime. It has nothing to do with them. The history of the company.
Right.
When you take that away, you are clearly, unapologetically laying out the framework for your future.
Right.
And so, unfortunately, folks, what this means to you, the casual fan, is get used to watching it the way that you are, no different than the way you're watching us right now, and get ready to pay a premium. I don't know if you saw, Gully. We're going to get right into this part of it now because it's the perfect opportunity to say this. You see this here?
Yeah. 2-night SummerSlam.
That's right. And guess what? I got a text earlier in the week that was talking about Mania.
Don't you tell me Mania about to go to 3 nights.
Well, we're not quite going to get there. However, the premium experiences, okay? Premium experiences.
Yeah.
You are now able to walk out on the entrance ramp.
When?
What do you mean? Like not during the show, but like they're going to give you really can do that.
Whoa.
Again, this is for those. Look, and we know, right? We consider ourselves them, but I don't want to put myself in that category because I don't want to disrespect them, which is the ultimate fans of the sport and of the brand. I mean, this is something, a 7th grade version of myself that had WWE The Music Volume 2.
Yeah.
Could have only have dreamed of, literally.
I had Volume 1, 2, and 3. I think I still got the CDs, bro.
I at least may have that one. Absolutely. It may still be around somewhere. To suggest that you can do that you can then show up and get the picture.
Yeah.
It's no longer just a quick meet and greet.
Right.
The access that they're allowing is taking it to another level. And why I bring that up is we've talked about how modernizing this, right? Where we know Dominic Mysterio's married.
Yeah.
To blur the lines, and they're going to. I have a feeling this is going to be a sign of things to come.
Yeah.
It comes with some serious caution.
Yeah.
On my end, because of when you provide that kind of access, as someone that's been around, I always kind of was told, don't ever meet your idols, right? Because they'll kind of let you down.
Yeah.
I know these folks are for the most part typically different, especially when it's not, when it's during work hours, I guess I would call it.
Yeah.
So just again, something to pay close attention to because these are insane prices, like
Yeah.
college tuition at a Big Ten university,
Yeah.
out of state rates.
Right.
So just something to keep in mind. But overall, what's your thoughts on SummerSlam being 2 nights?
I guess I like it because you'll have enough time. You'll have enough time for the brands to create a full card, so that way you don't miss your favorite superstars. From the business end, why not make the weekend? Why not get more? Make more out of the weekend, right? For a fan, you would think about like going to your favorite amusement park. Oh man, why not have one day when you can have two? You get what I'm saying? So it's cool. I think perhaps maybe this is the idea that the big four are 2-night pay-per-views.
I'm trying to process what you just said.
Yeah, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania. The big four are 2-night events. Which just
do you worry about that at all? Do you have any kind of concern about that?
having them 2-night, having those events being 2 nights.
Are we on a collision course with UFC and WWE taking place at the same venue?
One of them on one day and the other on the So you're having the TKO Saturday night being the UFC Saturday night and WWE Sundays.
So I've brought up on many occasions my concerns for in both, right? With UFC, a lot of people have said, well, they've done we just talked about it, matter of fact, on Saturday night about boxing and that exclusiveness of being able to see these folks is making it more difficult to actually follow them.
So,
but boxing doesn't give you the level of access, right? You had to pay for the pay-per-view to get the quote unquote, right, that access to that fight, not just to the actual fight itself. I'm saying they call it access, and then they give you the whole background and all of that stuff.
Yeah. Which those were pretty cool. I enjoyed those. The all access, the 24/7s or whatnot.
Exactly. There you go. Exactly. And so they got to handle that part of it delicately. I know there's a ton of people involved in it. So again, I have creative concerns, but overall,
hold on, but what are your concerns
about the prelims? Essentially what I would call our undercard or prelims.
Yeah.
Or I guess we would call them potentially dark matches that wouldn't necessarily be dark anymore.
Right. Okay.
So there's just a number of aspects of it that if we're going to go the digital route, we have to make sure. And is there a C and a D program? What's our Ultimate Fighter? What's our non-pay-per-view that would have shown up on an ESPN that you don't have to pay actually?
The NXTs?
Right? Potentially. And again, NXT's already been to the Apex. They, again, like we theorized this months ago, and it's just surreal to me about how quick it's moved.
Yes.
And I think, unfortunately, that Triple H is one domino that is the next to fall.
Wow.
And it's just a matter of trusting either an individual or a collective as it pertains to creative. And we've seen the struggles of this, and this is where I get concerned about the TKO group moving away from someone that has the background.
Right.
Even whether I agree with everything that Hunter's done, or I even if I hated it all, it still feels very similar to what we witnessed to some extent. And when we see these 2-night events, is this Thunder and Nitro on the same budget? That's what I'm worried about.
Gotcha.
So, any final thoughts on this before we actually talk quickly about Triple H as it pertains to a premium live event? And
Well,
who's missing?
Well, no. Like I said, I think that this is going to segue into the Big Four having 2-night events, having more of an interactive live experience. It's in light of the scaling down of PLEs and or live events and premium live events that we had mentioned earlier. So to offer the live experience, a grander live experience, I actually think is pretty cool. And extending that, seeing that it's worked for 4 years now with WrestleMania, that process, that process is duplicable, if that's a word. It's going to be a word today. But I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Yeah, no, again, we have to have a little bit of faith in what their plan is, but surface level, we threw it out there once upon a time too, and so the fact that it's happening, I'm not going to completely poo-poo on it, because I truthfully am all for it too. I'm just concerned with some more deeper-rooted things. Speaking of deeper-rooted, and maybe under the surface, very quickly here, I wanted to point this out and get your thoughts. So, Bad Blood will be the third straight WWE PLE without a single black male talent on it. But y'all mad at what Swerve said. This is from Fansided.
What did Swerve say?
I will have to... Well, actually, I think Swerve hinted at that.
Okay. What? Who on the roster now would you elevate to a...
Here we go. Hang on, I got it.
Yep.
Ready?
Yep.
Swerve fires shots at WWE. Only angry when a black man gets paid. Swerve Strickland on WWE, considering he was paid above his value. They only complain when a black person gets paid. I will say that. We shake the foundation of things like that. Oh, wait, that's not what we would pay. Then why are you calling me? If I'm not your concern, then don't worry about it. That was him on the Breakfast Club podcast.
Whoa.
All right, so we've had MVP, who's on the alumni officially now. And again, his group has now moved on as well. I just want to point that out there. So they're still active, but just elsewhere. And now Swerve comes out and obviously was a part of both programs at one point in time. And then you get this, right? So, like, where is there merit, right? Is this the who's the country singer that they're like trying to point out, like everywhere he went on tour there was a missing person?
Oh gosh.
Yeah, oh yeah. I'm throwing that out there too. So, like, is it as wild of a conspiracy as this, or is there actually some merit to it? So, like, which is missing here? So something I'll point out, right? I'll bring out sports. So I'll take sports entertainment out of the equation at the moment and just say, well, you know what? There's not enough African Americans in baseball, right? Just a statement that I've heard stated before, more recently. Okay, but what type of access does the inner city youth have with, as it pertains, and I said this about universally across all sports.
Yeah.
And on top of, the video games and insert device here, as far as distractions and things that would take them away from actually participating in the sports, let alone be willing, having the attention span beyond a rodent to actually want to sit there for 2.5, 3 hours to watch a baseball game.
Right.
So I'm looking at this and I'm saying, is it a talent thing, or is there something more to it? Right? The same way that in baseball or in soccer, like soccer is pay to play, and I totally get that.
Okay.
This is why the U.S. model is broken. It is very simple. It costs about $5,500 a year without travel, in hotel, etc. Just to be on a team, a decent one.
Gotcha.
That's not really realistic for most, even middle class people.
Yeah. So
my question is there something more? I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. And I'm not trying to do that on purpose. I just want to make sure we look at it with a clear-eyed view, right? But in the past, we used to be able to hold this against Vince. And truthfully, look, Hogan, we've said this about Terry.
yeah.
Well, I'm going to say Hulk because that's a fictional character.
Yeah.
So with Hulk, the fictional character, not wanting to relinquish the belt to Booker T.
Right. For some reason.
Right.
Can't imagine what that could have been.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
So now we fast forward. He's not a part of this. The creative control Hogan is not here.
Nope.
He has no say in this. We've had Bischoff comment before, thankfully. Thank you for that.
Right.
He's not there.
Right.
Vince, who's on record of using verbiage.
Yeah.
Which actually led to the title of our segment, From Booker T.
Right. Right.
He's not there either. But so why is this happening?
Why is it happening? Because in light of all of the areas in which entertainment, in the world of sports and entertainment, wrestling is still far behind to the point where people can count, and people are counting because it's not common, and it should be just as common for any person of any ethnicity to prove that they are a worthy attraction through their work ethic or their mic skills, and they're worthy of sustaining and building brands and building bases and driving revenue. Certainly, the black male talent in WWE is enough to be able to do that. And the fact that it isn't is, you can call it a coincidence until someone has to remind you that it keeps happening. And at this point, it's a conspiracy. This is what it feels like.
Well, it'll be something we'll keep an eye on. But in the meantime, we're going to take our break here, and then we will be returning to break down tonight's Raw. So stay tuned. We will see you in 1:30.
I'm Jordan Gudeman, and I'm the founder and CEO of Eddie G's Cookies. I was first diagnosed with a nut allergy when I was young. At the time, there weren't a lot of labeled items that said if there may contain nuts or there are nuts in the food, so my brother and sister and I baked a lot at home, and we enjoyed treats from mixes and things like that, but I noticed that it was not the same as what my friends were enjoying, and I started making up my own recipes. When it was time to pick a career, I decided to start a bakery so I could share my treats with everybody else. When I started creating my recipe, I was taking in all the things that I thought I was missing out on. A soft, chewy center, a crisp outside crust, and a taste that is just like it came out of the oven at a bakery. When I put all those things together, I'd come up with a recipe for a dream cookie. Eddie G's Cookies only uses the finest ingredients. We have all natural flavorings, no preservatives, and every cookie is made in a nut-free environment. The best part about Eddie G's Cookies is that they can be delivered right to your door. You can share them or not. We won't tell.
All right, and just like that, we are back. And without further ado, unfortunately, I do want to make mention here of the passing of Dikembe Mutombo. No, unfortunately.
No, not in my house.
Correct.
Yeah.
A joy on and off the court, obviously. Fantastic. Him, I don't really watch too much late night TV, but outside of ourselves. But him reading the mean tweets, fantastic.
Yeah.
But what he did for the game of basketball in Africa, I think will probably be the biggest true testament of his contributions to the sport, not just what he was able to accomplish as a player, but now with for example, that exhibition that we saw in which a country, of course, defeated the United States, and we see J. Cole playing over there. So, Gully, if any thoughts on Dikembe?
It's unfortunate. I feel like it's very young. For him, unfortunate for his family. I believe they said it was brain cancer, which I can imagine would be a very tough thing to experience and to deal with on a day in and day out, especially as he took his final turn. I can imagine that would be a painful thing, and thankfully he's no longer in pain. Though his legacy will live on for us, we are sort of in a unique position where we can empathize, but we don't have to go through that agony of losing someone. That was great for us in our, like I said, when it comes to the Western culture and sports. He's a household name because of the Denver Nuggets beating the number 1 seed in '94. That was a remarkable achievement. And his entire career, being an integral part of helping Allen Iverson get to an NBA final in 2001. Being on the side of some pretty unlikely teams to have great success. Playing basketball at a supremely high level and becoming one of the premier shot blockers, defenders in the sport. That's all, that's all one aspect of just the person that he is, the person that he was, a person that I don't know completely, but if he lived life like he played basketball, I know he was a joy to be around for sure. Because that's how he played the game. He was tough. He meant business, and he gave you everything he had. And it was great to watch. So, rest in peace, rest in power to Dikembe Mutombo and his family.
Absolutely, and believe it or not, there is a tie-in to Dikembe and one of our two Name That Superstar.
Oh, yeah.
So I just that is the only nugget I'm going to give you for that particular one. The other one, I will say only this clue, was in the 80s, but also in the news recently. And so those will be the only 2 clues that I'll let you chew on and let it stew there, get it to a good simmer before we get started. So here we go. We're about to dive into tonight's Raw, but before we do so, very quickly, wanted to show the new IC title just in time for John Cena.
I'm not. I don't know, man.
The color doesn't pop for you, huh?
Nah, I don't know. That looks.
What's old isn't new.
That looks.
It doesn't look circa 1994. You don't like it?
No, I don't like it. I feel like maybe it shouldn't have the strap shouldn't have been black. Wonder what that would have looked like if it was blue. I wonder what that what it would have looked like if it was blue or dark blue.
But is that a little faux pas? I mean, have we ever like can we really do that? Like for long term, right? Short term we've seen, people kind of customize this, but as far as something that I think they're going the traditional route, and they're just simply adding a little bit of color here.
Yeah.
With the intent of hoping it would go a long way. What I don't particularly care for either, I don't like that we're using a handful of blues. I would prefer if you're going to use the one, use it across kind of evenly across the board. I don't like the Carolina blue in the middle and then the sky blue on the left and the right.
That's what you think you see there? It's the same blue.
What?
It's the same blue.
Man, am I getting that old, dude? No way. Stop.
It's the same blue, bro. Yo, it might be, yeah.
No, that looks like a different shade of blue, dude.
No, I think it's because of
what is the way the light hits it? Is that what we're doing now? Like that dress from years ago? We're not doing that.
Yeah, it's on that white. No, bro, it's the same.
Is that
blue.
Folks in the audience? Am I seeing things?
Yes.
Don't answer that. Never mind.
Yes. I just think it's. I don't know. I'm not.
That doesn't look like a lighter blue in the middle.
No, because it's hitting the light. It's reflecting the light. So you're getting. You see how like you got the light being captured, like the natural light being captured. It's a reflection. That's why it looks like a lighter blue. You're seeing the reflection of the light coming off of that. It's the same blue.
People in the comments, please
tell him.
Me on this.
Listen. You can get iMed. Okay, they can. America's Best have a great sale on prescription frames.
Don't do that. We're not going. We're not going down that road. It's too late.
Listen, you're from your favorite designers: Gucci, Prada, Oakley.
Oh man,
Tommy Hilfiger. You can
That's not the same blue color.
Double J. You can get them.
That is substantially
America's
light.
Best. Okay, you need when you need glasses. They got designer frames. They've got reading frames. They have all types of frames, athletic frames for you. You can America's Best. Okay. Hey, I just gave them the biggest plug. Listen, they need to holler at us.
All contributions, please email the shopreport365@gmail.com. Again, all hate mail, attention, Barbershop J. And with that being said, while I go put some eye drops in and potentially go check my own vision, do one of these here. Yeah. We're going to take our next break and then dive into tonight's Raw very quickly, and then get into our last segment, which will be named That Superstar. Yep. So we will see you in just a few moments.
What it do, sports fans? It's your man BSJ from the Shop Report. And guess what? The shop is now open for business, baby. If you're on Facebook, go to our fan page, The Shop Report. Click on More, and then Shop to view all products. Or if you're on Instagram, click on the Shop tab to see all our products. I mean, what you want me to do? I'm selling merch here.
All right, just like that, we are back and better than ever. And of course, kicking off tonight's Raw was none other than Yeet himself. And Gully, he was ultimately joined by Braun Breaker, who interrupted him, but then said he respects Jay and congratulated him on winning. Do you like good guy Braun?
No, absolutely not. I hope it's a swerve. This makes no sense.
You know, I talked to you a little bit about direction a week ago, and we'll get to Sami Zayn in a little bit, but I think we're on a collision course for Brock Lesnar and Braun Breaker, and I'm here for it.
I would like to think so, but man, that cloud is almost as heavy as the cloud surrounding Vince McMahon in his return to WWE. I would love for that to be so, but that's a pretty precarious position. But why he got to be Yeet's friend in order to secure that? You get what I'm saying? Like, why does that have to happen? Like, does Braun need to become the face in order for Brock to become a heel?
Gully, I'm going to say this now. I think Brock Lesnar returns at Bad Blood.
Whoa. You heard it here first, folks. You saying Brock returns at Bad Blood?
Mm-hmm. Just another curveball for you. That's all.
Yeah, that indeed.
That
one might hit the dirt, bro.
Right.
That one might hit the dirt.
But, well, correct. It could be like, who was that, 50 Cent's throw? Who was that threw out the first pitch and, it was supposed to go, it went completely, like, into the dugout.
I don't know, Roseanne.
Oh man.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know what the purpose of that was. What purpose it served. Yeah, I don't get this one.
Yeah, Eric Bischoff seems to agree with you. I will say that on one of his more recent takes, but you tell me if you think if you find anything. But I don't know why. I just have a strange thing, strange feeling that because I could have sworn quietly he was added back to the roster.
I don't know which way to go with that one because I thought so too. I think it's just a persistent desire to actually have him back. He remains, to me, a big draw. And you can't count him out as a wrestler. So it's a very big surprise if he ever does the job, a la Cody Rhodes. Mm-hmm. That was still huge. It was huge for Cody. It was just as huge for Brock to lose as it was, for Cody to be able to win that. But again, I don't know that Brock is coming back.
Well, you know what came back? Something that I had predicted, but just not in this manner. Xavier Woods, who I swear is going to be a heel,
yeah,
in any moment now.
Yep, at Bad Blood.
He defeats Rey Mysterio, but unmasks him. When we talked about Dominic and what he needed to do and him not really being that green necessarily, I said, why not retire the old man in this fashion? And now here's Xavier Woods on a Monday night.
Right. Random, right? Stone Cold versus Brock on a Monday night. Yeah, let's see how that works. But yeah, this is pretty Why Xavier? Well, yeah, if you want to get him to go heel, this is how you do it. So this makes sense. This is a safe way to get him to go heel.
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, Gully. That was not on my bingo card. But at this point, let's get a barbershop window here.
Yeah.
And let's go ahead and have him super kick Kofi Kingston through it while we're at it.
He's on his way. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then we got to talk about later in Raw. You know, Xavier Woods is involved later.
That's right. Matter of fact, of course, none other than his good friend Kofi Kingston, currently good friend, who reveals that the main event Jey Uso offered him, which was an IC title match for next week, Kofi said he declined it and instead told him that it would be Woods that should get the match, and Jey has agreed.
Well,
who's kicking who through the window, Gully?
Oh, Xavier's definitely kicking Kofi.
Are you sure? Because I could easily see us getting plot twist. If you remember a while back,
I'm still on Xavier Woods kicking Kofi because of what we see later in the match. If later tonight on Raw.
Well, by later tonight, you didn't mean this, did you? Which was Zoe Stark beats Lyra, and then after the match, Passion Fruit came out and attacked them. But as you see here, Katana Chance and Caden Carter made the save. No? Crickets?
Yeah.
Passion fruit juice? And nothing? Still nothing?
Nah.
All right.
Nah.
Moving right along.
we leave that alone.
We're terrible.
Right.
Adam Pearce, of course, held a face-off between Drew McIntyre and CM Punk ahead of their Hell in a Cell match at Bad Blood. Drew says he's wearing all black out of respect for AJ Lee, and I'd wear whatever. Never mind. Nope. And after Bad Blood, Punk's wife is going to need to feed him, bathe him, and will probably leave him.
Oh, wow. Strong words. My goodness.
Yes. For me was the omitted part. Never mind. Anyway, all entertainment, folks. Punk says he's going to send Drew back home to Scotland in a box.
Wow.
Anything from you on that end?
This build-up is cool. Nice to see them. I like the visual of showcasing them inside of a cell to kind of get us ready for what we're going to see. I like more traditional matches. A cell is along the veins of a traditional match, not a bull rope or tie your hands and touch the 4 turnbuckles. I don't like to see that for wrestling. I like to see 2 guys inside that cell and do what they do best. But I'm warming up to the idea of them having this program and those 2 guys going at it. I don't know who will win, actually. I'm thinking that Drew might.
Well, and as we'll get to here momentarily, potential curveball that was originally involved with these 2 makes a triumphant return without them. So stay tuned. We will be returning to break down tonight's Raw and name that superstar coming up soon.
It's Kate Cunningham, and you watching the Shop Report. I'm Homie Diallo, and you watching the Shop Report. My name's Chris Murray, and you're watching the Shop Report. You're Jay Knight, you're watching the Shop Report. Max McKee, you're dropping in on the Shop Report.
Barbershop Jay, Quentin Hines, Super Bowl champion. I'm ready. Let's do it. I'm on.
Hi, I'm Mars Man, works at Mercury Stadium, and you're watching the Shock Report.
Hey, I'm Billy Butler, and thank you for watching the Shop Report. Hey guys, I'm Les Norman, former Kansas City Royal, and you're watching the Shop Report.
Commander Brown, Detroit Rivers Mountain Training, and I'm watching the Shop Report.
Hey, this is Doug Flynn of the New York Mets. Well, a few other teams, of course, too. And you're watching the Shop Report.
I'm Matt Ramos, and you're watching the Shop Report. How you doing? I'm Rajay Davis, and you're watching the Shop Report.
How you doing? This is Nelson Figueroa, former Major League pitcher with a lot of teams. You're about to listen to The Shop Report.
Hey, this is Howard Johnson. You're watching The Shop Report.
Cleaning the cracks on your pavement surfaces can take hours and be torturous on your body. Until now. Bicracky Weed Removal Tool was designed specifically to clean pavement cracks in a fraction of the time, all while standing up. Bicracky's patented design incorporates a two-sided steel blade and is encased by a durable fiberglass shell. Simply use the large end to clean big gaps, then rotate and use the small tip for narrow gaps. Made in the USA, Bicracky eliminates weeds to the root and is environmentally friendly. Bicracky. Save your back while you clean your crack.
All right, and just like that, we are back. Again, keep an eye out for that. Speaking of back, someone that we failed to mention, R-Truth.
Yeah, he was back all right. The Miz was back. Someone needs to watch their back because someone didn't watch their back. Somebody got their back beat. Pause.
Man, the Shop Report after dark.
My bad.
Man, I mean, you just majestically laid that out there where I just...
Whoa.
Whoa.
My bad.
Whoa is right.
Whoa.
Well, speaking of beaten, the Judgment Day was victorious over LWO. Imagine that. Remember what we just had a quick discussion about talent.
Yeah.
In the shades of wheat.
Yeah.
And for those that don't know, again, Google it. Shades of wheat. And probably. Really? The LWO again?
Yeah.
But it wasn't the only folks they laid the smack down. Of course, Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest went after the Judgment Day. And ultimately, we had Rhea and Liv kind of fight on the stage. And and of course, they took that back behind the curtain.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Priest was simply outnumbered yet again. Who do you got in Bad Blood here with Finn and Damian?
You've got the faction in the way the faction that was intended to represent, right? Guys that are on the cusp, ready to break out, not quite there yet. You have that element now. You don't have a leader of his flock anymore. You have a group of guys that are all hungry for success.
So I got a little bit of a problem with Sick Boy leaving Raven's flock and trying to fly.
Okay.
I just don't think it's going to work. Now, again, that's more of a... Damian may have done a little bit more than he did individually. However, what I really do have a problem with, he was no-selling the bleep out of everyone's offense tonight.
Who was?
Priest.
Oh.
I mean, bro, like, he was stiff as a board.
To no-sell everybody, but to end up like this, that seems kind of weird.
Don't get me wrong. I didn't want him to like go full like Goldberg spear, but
yeah,
I was disappointed by that. Yes, the act itself has grown tiresome on me.
Right.
Certainly, at the very least, stale. there was a moment in time tonight that I thought there's someone else coming.
Got you. And you
I
kept looking at that, right? And nobody showed up.
Thankfully. However, it wasn't. Then the more I thought about it, I'm like, well, it's not going to be Yeet, right? Like
Okay.
we've already kind of, even just going through how we got here this evening and him with Kofi and Xavier. I thought it was going to be the Wyatt Six.
Yeah.
And where I struggle with this, like, who do you have between these in those two matches at Bad Blood, which again is right around the corner now.
Yeah.
So you have again Finn and Priest, and you have Rhea and Liv.
I like this iteration of Judgment Day. I'm gonna stand on that. I'm gonna double down on that. I like this iteration of Judgment Day. I don't know what Carlito doing out there. I don't get that. But I like this. I like what they could represent, and I like the fact that these guys can really wrestle, so they can help train Dom, so he can become a better wrestler. Because he almost actually has a really good look. But
I see. Part of me says, okay, well, if you're gonna have them with the Wyatt Six, like first of all, the Wyatt Six don't have to come to anybody's aid necessarily.
No, they don't. They don't have to aid or abet anybody.
But do you then reunite the faction by, say, like Priest and Rhea getting messed with? Like, if you remembered their original statements that when they were coming out, they said something about like turning your back on your family. Like it was applicable to more than one, in my opinion. That's how I interpreted it.
Yeah.
And again, this is all theoretical, but we've done pretty well on these.
Yeah, we have.
That my thought was they were talking about Jey Uso. They were talking about the Judgment Day and potentially Dominic. And then they were talking about Dark Gable.
Yeah.
That was my initial thought. So is this a way of like circling all of it back? Right? Because now you have the tie-in, the love interest of Rhea being with Jay.
Yeah.
You would have, of course, I guess, old friends becoming new again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? That concept of the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
That's what they saying. The enemy of my enemy is this faction.
Well, in your case, yes.
Yeah. But
and I know that is not nails to a chalkboard for you.
Yeah.
Speaking of frustration in me, Sheamus, of course, challenges Butch to a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match.
Yeah.
Now here's a serious concern when I talk about the direction of the company.
Okay.
That we've brought up quite a bit.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you three. I'm just going to give you two. Give you two.
Okay.
Okay, so we've gone through a handful of matches that are going to be a Bad Blood, but
yes,
Reed and Strowman, Pete and Sheamus.
Yes.
Those are two. These are essentially filler feuds.
Okay.
That are Bad Blood worthy, but won't be. Do you not see now where I'm going with the why behind my stance here about the shorter duration of these programs, and not only just shorter duration by way of time, but now with combined with less events, and what that could do where this potentially becomes the norm. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, so with less time and more gimmick, you get a degradation of the product. Then that's what you're getting at. Am I wrong?
Absolutely. No, you're right.
Yeah. So a good old fashioned Irish Donnybrook, whatever that means. Have at it. I don't know. Sheamus to me doesn't strike me as enhancement talent. Yeah, I don't even know what Donnybrook is.
Well, we'll find out. And what we did find out is who's going to be kicking who through that window. Plow in my best CeeLo Green and Goody Mob. Well, that was who's looking through my window.
Who's that looking through my window? Pal, nobody now. Sorry.
Saw them live actually in Flint.
What?
Yeah, didn't you see the picture of me with CeeLo?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Nice guy.
Yeah, for sure.
Didn't let the fame get to him. Of course, we just brought up Dark Gable. He, as you see here, looking similar to Aiden after that penalty kick, getting carried off by his teammates. What do you make of this? Now, you know the heel turn's coming.
Yeah.
And if there was any doubt, all Kofi has to do is watch the tape. But is that unfortunately not going to get hand delivered to Michael Cole the way of a Wyatt 6 and instead take 6 weeks to get dragged out? Or do you think we have some kind of conclusion here a little bit faster?
Perhaps. I think that Xavier and Kofi are breaking down, and they continue to break down. And I see more of this about, Xavier and Kofi. The seeds are being set. Did you say earlier that you think that Kofi's going, or that one of those two are going to make a turn at Bad Blood?
Yes.
Yeah, count on that.
Perfect.
Count on that, and count on it being Kofi. I mean, being Xavier.
That's who I was leaning on potentially, but again, if you're Kofi and you see the footage, you technically could fuel you to do it. And if you remember a while back, I want to say about 2-3 months ago, I pointed out that it felt like it was originally Kofi that was being recruited to leave, and then it quickly turned to Xavier Woods. And it seemed like Xavier was listening more.
Yeah.
And so I thought I peeped that, and again, they do a fantastic job of literally sprinkling something in, and that's the whole premise of why you have to watch. Is pay attention for detail.
Live, right?
There you go. Yep, there it is. Shameless plug. And so, speaking of unfortunate news, my guy, Dragunov, out of action 6 to 9 months due to an ACL tear that he sustained, and this is going to just further drive the stake into the heart at a house show. So not only did he take an unnecessary bump, but he did it at a house show.
Yep.
So now he's on the mend
for no reason. Wow. What did he tear?
His ACL.
Oh.
Like, bro, do you know, like, we've talked about the importance of house shows. We talked about where it could make sense to have a resurgence in house shows. Right. We've talked about Cody Rhodes' entire title defense taking place in house shows. Yeah. And now we got the injury that is going to kill house shows.
Yeah.
So, yeah, unfortunately, that we want to send our well wishes to him. I wish he could make a return for Rumble, but unless he goes to like Europe coincidentally and has one of those, like, even then I don't think those transfusions work in that way, stem cell stuff. I don't think he'd be able to come back in 4 months.
No.
And so, I told you we'd bring up Sami Zayn.
Yeah, well, we brought him up, but he got brought down.
That's right.
Yeah.
So he got into a brawl with Gunther, and Gunther had told Sami if he wants a world heavyweight title match so badly, he can have it.
Yeah,
so am I wrong here that it is just going to be Brock and Gunther at Survivor Series?
I would love for that to be the case. I don't know that it will.
I'm just going to speak it into existence. I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to look either like a fool or a genius. Creative Control J.
Creative Control J. Okay. Does it make it? So are we?
Dude, when that music hits,
Yeah.
right now, right? Look at that image, that scene.
Yeah.
And you hear that dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
The pop of that crowd. Thoughts? Where you, on your gully scale?
Man. No, I dig the segment. I like it.
Now, whoa. Now you hate Lesnar too?
I don't hate Lesnar. I just don't know about his likelihood of coming back. That's a very sticky situation.
Let me ask you: Did the docuseries make you feel better or worse about him, about Brock in his involvement in anything, or unchanged?
Yeah. To bring him back when the court of public opinion has already rendered their verdict and there is no appeals court, that's tough. And that's what I think is happening to Brock. And therefore we'll miss moments like this.
Well, to be determined.
Well, here's the thing. What I see is, and I thought it was kind of early, but maybe not. The idea that they're moving in this direction such that Sami Zayn could look like he's a WWE championship contender.
Coincidentally, Gully, you brought up AJ Styles, and it's rumored that his deal expires this year, like sometime relatively soon.
Who you said Gunther's or Sami Zayn?
AJ's.
AJ's. Oh yeah, right.
So if to your point, I know AJ wanted another run. I don't think it's happening.
We never know.
Well, true, and it may just have to get shelved for a year. But I think Sami Zayn becomes AJ Styles, like creatively. That is who their filler guy is going to be. Who's going to get close but not get over.
You saying it's going to be AJ, or you saying it's going to be?
No, I'm saying Sammy would be AJ, who would get close but wouldn't actually get over.
Sure.
And I'm telling you, dude, these next 4 months, right? You got Rumble, your Survivor Series, Mania. This is where all the old fogies, dude. The retirement home has this celebration. Plus, you have the Hall of Fame stuff.
Yeah.
It is unfortunately looking more like. Again, I think that music's gonna pop, and the crowd will pop. For that matter.
Yep.
When it drops, rather. And but we'll see.
We shall.
Oof.
This. Did you see this?
I sure did.
Yep.
I got really quiet. So the Authors of Pain beat The Miz and R-Truth.
Yep.
And then, of course, after Miz turned on Truth.
Mm.
You know what bothers me about this? I'm just going to say it. Like, I thought it worked, right? Like, obviously, I love R-Truth. He's a treasure. I'm glad he's back. I hope he wasn't back just for this to happen, to disappear again. Obviously, anything he does is gold, whether it's his commentary on Shannon Sharp.
Yeah.
Or, of course, anything, on the, the partnership that they had, the Awesome Truth, I didn't hate it. I thought they were super over at Mania.
Yeah.
And just
it's cool. It's cool because you know
what they're going to do. So I wanted to ask you, kind of get your thoughts.
No, I think it's cool.
Going a different direction.
We need Miz to be a heel. There needs to be more heels in that space. This is a perfect opportunity for him to become a heel. I'm not the biggest Miz fan. However, I come to respect it, just like I come to respect Gunther, right? So this is the obvious play to make,
so turning our attention to, again, I think Miz being heel is par for the course. But turning our attention then to another vignette being shown, I think, again, reiterating, since we know the Vikings are returning.
Yeah.
The Vikings are coming. The Vikings are coming.
Yeah.
And with that being said, we did have, of course, our last match of the night, which is none other than the
last
man standing match, last monster standing match.
Yes.
And it led to the return of Seth frickin' Rollins, who curb stopped Bronson.
For what?
You got anything on this, Scully? I mean, we had I said to you a week ago, it just dropped. One of our shorts just dropped, which short was actually long. I forgot to hit a button on that. But
so the long and
I
short
said,
of it,
if that ring doesn't break, we riot.
Yes.
And the ring broke. You see it.
They didn't want no riot.
What do you got?
And they didn't want any.
You lost your audio here.
Uh-oh. You lost me? Hold on. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Am I back? Can you hear me? Uh-oh. Where'd I go? Can you hear me?
Can't hear you. All right, we'll take a quick 20.
What it do, sports fans? It's your man BSJ from the Shop Report. And guess what? The shop is now open for business, baby. If you're on Facebook, go to our fan page, The Shop Report, click on more, and then shop to view all products. Or if you're on Instagram, click on the shop tab to see all our products. I mean, what you want me to do? I'm selling merch here.
All
right, can you hear me?
We are back. Gully, how's your audio looking?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I'm still working on it.
You can't hear me?
We're going to take an additional break during our technical difficulty section. And we're going to finish with this last portion of Raw. And then we will dive into Name That Superstar and be out for the night. So stay tuned. Bear with us. Technical difficulties.
It's Kay Cunningham, and you watching the Shop Report. I'm Harvey Diallo, and you watching the Shop Report. My name's Chris Murray, and you're watching the Shop Report. Oh, you're Jay Knight, you're watching the Shop Report. It's Braxton Key, you're dropping in on the Shop Report.
Barbershop Jay, Quentin Hines, Super Bowl champion. I'm ready. Let's do it. I'm on.
Hi, I'm Mars Man, works at Mercury Stadium, and you're watching the Shock Report.
Hey, I'm Billy Butler, and thank you for watching the Shop Report. Hey guys, I'm Les Norman, former Kansas City Royal, and you're watching the Shop Report.
Commander Brown, Detroit Rivers Mountain Training, and I'm watching the Shop Report.
Hey, this is Doug Flynn of the New York Mets. Well, a few other teams, of course, too. And you're watching the Shop Report.
I'm Matt Ramos, and you're watching the Shop Report.
How you doing? I'm Rajay Davis, and you're watching the Shop Report.
How you doing? This is Nelson Figueroa, former Major League pitcher with a lot of teams. You're about to listen to the Shop Report.
Hey, this is Howard Johnson. You're watching the Shop Report.
All right, we are back. Welcome back, D Gully, to the program.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
You sure can, loud and clear. We are
All
good
right,
to go.
fantastic.
All right. Any thoughts from you on this last monster standing and the return of Seth freaking Rollins?
All right. Why did he curb stomp Big Bronson? I don't know. I have no idea what that's about. I could have been missing something to see if they had history. Not sure about that. Ring, even despite its predictability that I knew this was going to happen, even though you called it, it's still something to see when the ring collapses. Period. Like the fans, everyone stands up. It's still shocking. I think they, it's been done more frequently in recent years, but every time you get it, it's such an awesome event because it's such a large scale event that you see in a match. The whole ring collapses. It's pretty cool to see. What I've been saying when we were live and we were watching this, something happened to Braun Strowman. I think he hurt his leg in a serious way that he powered through the match, but something happened. I don't know what it could have been cramping. I'm not certain if it was a tear, hamstring, something. Something happened in this match, and he survived it. I'm not certain what it was, but we'll find out in recent weeks.
Absolutely. And again, we're going to go to our rapid fire segment. You tell me, do you need 30 or are you good?
Let's go.
All right. So, our rapid fire segment. Here's what we have announced for next week's Raw.
Yes. Gunther retains. It's an entertaining match. They got a bit of a program going, but Gunther retains.
All right, then we get Sheamus versus Pete Dunne in that good old-fashioned Donnybrook rules match. Why?
Whatever that means. I'll take Donnybrook. You know what? I'm so disconnected with it. I guess anything I say will have as much logic as anything I don't say. Look, take Sheamus for Donnybrook rules. Yeah. So, yeah, I'll take Sheamus.
Fair enough. And then we get main event Jey Uso versus Xavier Woods for the IC title.
Kofi cost Xavier the shot at the title, further fragmenting their relationship. But yeah, and Jay returns. Yeah, so they're both going to be looking at each other, cross-eyed because of the double crosses each try to execute.
Absolutely. It does seem, however, that the WWE and the world heavyweight titles will not be defended at Bad Blood.
Well, in other news, that's what I got to say.
Right, fair enough. Shout out to everybody sticking with us again. If you're unfamiliar, go ahead. When you type Raw, which was, of course, trending worldwide, you would see us right here in this corner there, that we are live. We appreciate you all being with us. By all means, feel free to retweet us with your thoughts, and we will naturally get you up on the screen as well. And Gully, do you know what time it is?
It is time for Name That Superstar.
That's right, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, we have two superstars. Just in case our fantastic co-host here somehow always seems to know who they are very quickly, where I always have to have two. Although last week you were kind of stumped on that one, so that was actually very nice. I don't know if that was an act, but nevertheless, I certainly was.
If it was a work or a shoot, you don't know if it was a work or a shoot.
That's right. And however, there was quite a pop for me to see nevertheless. So I'm still quite green when it comes to that. But anyway, we're going to take our final 30 of the night. I'm going to get this thing ready to roll, and then we're going to see you on Saturday. So here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Creative Control J now brings to you your favorite segment, Name That Superstar. I gave you some clues earlier, Gully. Our first is the one that I said made headlines. Name That Superstar. This individual was a part of WrestleMania, a WrestleMania.
WrestleMania.
He said too easy.
Tell me. He said a WrestleMania. All right. But I got 40 to choose from.
That's right. I would say it is closer to 1 than it is to 40.
I have 39 to choose from. All right, go ahead. Next clue.
The next clue is he actually feuded with the Macho Man. And by all means, folks, if you can stump the Schwab here, if you can beat Gully, by all means, put your questions, or I'm sorry, your answers, submit your answers in the comments, and I will gladly throw it up on the screen if you guys can beat him. Again, he did make news headlines recently. This is somebody that feuded against the Macho Man and was a part of a WrestleMania. But that WrestleMania was not against the Macho Man.
Okay, right. Because Macho Man's part of WrestleMania, feuded with the Macho Man. Macho Man's notable feud. It's not Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
It is not.
All right. And it is not, certainly not Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Nope. Now, this was specifically over the IC title. Hence the tie-in a little earlier to the new revamped IC title as well. It all ties in. There's always a deeper meaning with
IC title. IC title. Hold on.
Do you need the final clue?
Final clue.
All right. The final clue is he was a part of the Battle of Full Nelsons with Hercules Hernandez.
I'm striking out. Who is it?
This is Billy Jack Haynes.
Billy Jack Haynes. Gotcha.
And Billy Jack Haynes, unfortunately, is in the news because he is likely going to prison after his hospital stint. Fortunately, if you remember, Billy Jack Haynes was fired from WWE after refusing to. There were two accounts of this. The first of which was that he was refusing to do a job in his hometown of Portland, Oregon. Another account of the same incident reported that he actually wrestled the match with a finish reworked and then was fired afterwards. Finally, in a shoot interview, he claimed that WWF at the time wanted him to lose the tag match in Portland, and he said no, and that's what they fired him for. He wanted creative control.
Yeah, you ain't lying.
And unfortunately, he wanted a little bit more than that. Unfortunately, it is alleged that unfortunately, there was a gunshot that was what happened to go off, that he was called, police were called to his home. Upon finally getting in there, there was a passing of his wife, his estranged wife now, and fortunately, once he's out of the hospital, he's likely going to be facing some charges.
Yeah.
Now.
All right, come on, let me redeem myself.
Our last one here.
Yep.
It's a shot at redemption.
All right, shot at redemption.
All right, I'm going to get this rolling here.
Yep.
All right, Gully. This individual is no longer with us, but he has a tie-in to someone that was mentioned on today's show, if you remember.
Oh, man, come on, man. That's an easy.
What do you got?
Hernandez. That's Giant Gonzalez.
That's right. Giant Gonzalez from 1993 also was, of course, drafted by the Atlanta Hawks in the 1988 NBA draft. And, of course, that team was then owned by Hawks owner Ted Turner, who convinced him to wrestle in 1989 as El Gigante.
Yeah.
And then, of course, he was brought back as Giant Gonzalez in 1993 with WWF.
Yes.
Wearing that full suit. But after a feud with The Undertaker, his gimmick fell flat. He physically just couldn't do it, and he was released in October of the same year. He did dodge another bad gimmick by being too injured to play the Yeti at WCW's Halloween Havoc in 1995. And why he was also chosen today is due to the passing of Dikembe Mutombo. He would have been playing in the NBA at the same time.
Sure. Guess what?
What's that?
Your turn. I've got a surprise for you. Name that superstar. Here we go. We're going to do this right now. It is your turn. I'm about to bring this up. Bring this up. All right. Let's see if you can pop this up. Can you see this?
Yep. Let's see here.
Can you name that superstar?
Whoa.
I'll tell you this. Give you some clues. He is superstar, most notably from the golden years of wrestling, golden age of WWE, or WWF actually, primarily in the late 80s, early 90s. He is actually split some time. Has both a singles and a tag team competitor. Actually has a pretty good run in his career doing both. Ultimate Mid-Carter. He shares his ring last name with a famous valet. Name that superstar, Double J.
Is he still alive?
Yes.
Is it Bob Backlund?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
I don't know what he looks like today, so.
I'm not at all.
How about Buddy Roberts?
Not at all.
Bobby the Brain Heenan?
No, he's gone. That is not him at all.
That's right.
This guy's still alive. He's actually he's actually, I believe, a real estate mogul.
Harley Race?
No, you will never believe who this guy is once I tell you who he is.
Am I fishing in the right pond here?
Nah, bro.
Am I too? I'm too old. With it.
Yeah. I said
you said the golden age.
So that's the golden era. That's right. If I'm not mistaken, that's the 80s to 90s.
No, the golden era. Yeah, 82 to 92.
Yeah, he's in that era. So you know you look at the later years of that 82 to 92. So we talking about 85. So let's say 85, 86. Primarily, I would say 86 to 92.
And you said run those clues by me again?
Mid Carter. He was an Intercontinental Champion. He had a pretty good run as a tag team, with a tag team, but ultimately also a singles competitor. He shares his ring name with a famous valet of the same era.
You said a valet?
Yes.
I thought you said ballet.
No, valet
okay,
with a V.
That's what was really kind of throwing me off here.
Oh, okay.
Because you keep saying Tito Santana, and okay, it's not Rick Rude.
No.
All right, hang on. I think I'm gonna get there at some point here. I think it's inevitable. But you did say he was an IC champion, correct?
Yep.
But wait a minute. What year? What you just said in the gold?
I can't give you. If I give you any more.
That's a good point. That's a good point. That's not the Ultimate Warrior, and obviously he's passed because you said he was alive.
Yeah.
Are you sure about this? That this gentleman's still alive? Did you fact check this?
Man, I would just run the. Can I run the? I don't want to run the answer, but I'm getting close.
It's not Mr. Perfect.
Nah, he's alive. He's alive.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm going through here and I'm losing my mind over this. Obviously,
I'm about to tell you, man.
I'm not going to concede defeat yet. It's not Piper. Are you sure this man won the IC title?
He is probably one of the most popular IC champions.
Okay. All right. Hang on. I will get this.
I've been drinking a whole bunch of water on the show, man. I gotta go again, man. We're gonna have to exit, man. I gotta answer, man. Our fans been seeing me chug down bottles of water, man, like I was doing like a water challenge.
Well, wait a minute. And this was in WWE, correct?
Yeah.
I'm telling you now, dude. Unless somehow Tito Santana was the champion for almost all of 1985.
Man, I'm about to give you this answer. you keep circling answers. I already done told you. It's not Tito. It's not Mr. Perfect. Oh man, you gotta just say you don't know, man. You gotta just say you don't know.
Wait a minute.
Man,
Oh, you know what? Hang on.
You know what I'm doing. You know, no fishing. I don't fish. You can't fish either.
No, I'm just trying to think about this. Who else was around?
Man, you know what, man?
It's not Marty Jannetty.
All right, you've about done it. Okay, you've just about done it here. You know, this is what we're about to do.
All right, yeah, you're gonna have to give it to me on this one because I've named every champion from '87 to '92,
except this guy. You come here. Come here. Hold on.
I said Honky Tonk Man. I said Mr. Perfect. I said Razor Ramon, but I knew it wasn't Razor Ramon.
It won't share the screen. Hold on. Wait. Hold up. Here we go.
Was it Greg the Hammer Valentine?
Bring the screen up. Rick the Model Martel. That's who that was.
Dude, what year was that? He didn't win.
He was an Intercontinental Champion.
When? You gave me bad intel.
I didn't give you bad intel. He was Intercontinental. If I'm not mistaken, I'm not.
You are mistaken.
No. I'm gonna tell you exactly. I'm not mistaken. He had an interesting heel versus heel Intercontinental Championship match with Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels actually got the IC title from him.
What year was this?
90. Let me see here.
Oh man, you gave me the wrong year.
I did not give you.
He set me up, everybody. How are you gonna pull this out?
I gave you a Kendrick Lamar.
Then throw it into the dirt.
Hold on. Wait a minute.
This can't be real life. Look at that. Now he's struggling, folks.
Look. Here we go. Hold on. Let's see. Wait a minute.
Oh no. See,
no.
No, man.
Here we go.
Oh,
Here we
my
go.
Gosh, dude.
Here we go.
I mean, I gave you clues like he was in WrestleMania 3. I might as well have said that. There were not too many of those matches that I was referring to. And I said he was closer to 1. That implies 2 or 3. Obviously, if I'm talking about him with the IC title with Macho Man, that was such a limited amount of time.
Oh.
I mean, these aren't softballs, but at the same time, come on.
Oh yeah, I did. I think I fed you bad intel, bro. I think I fed you bad intel. Wait a minute, I think I fed you bad intel. Hold on, bro. All right, I might have. Wait a minute. Wait.
Oh,
hold
man.
Hold on. Rick.
Hey, look, I get it. It's like these things take time, dude. Now you're getting it. Now you understand where Barbershop Jay and what we have to deal with here.
Oh, see, it was vacant. It was vacant. Wait. Hold on. Whoa. Wait a second. Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Double count out. Yeah, okay, my bad. He didn't win the IC title. I'm sorry. He did not win the IC title.
Oh, my.
He did not win the IC title. But he did share his ring name with a famous valet, Sherry Martel, or Sensational Sherry.
Dude,
Yeah, but okay, he didn't win the Intercontinental title. My bad. I thought he won it. But he did have the heel versus heel match versus Shawn Michaels.
That's true.
Yeah. He
Well,
had a review as both men sought the affections of sensational Sherry or Sherry Martel.
Yeah. Well, any final thoughts from you? Obviously, you're just a bit outside on Gully's first name that superstar.
I got tired of taking L's, man. So look, I had to do something. All right.
Well, you got the Giant Gonzalez really quick.
I got the Giant Gonzalez, but that was a softball. That was like you on the. That was like you. That was like you on the. You're playing you got a week on the road playing against division champions, and then you got a home game versus the worst team in your division. You know, to end your losing, to break your losing streak. So that's
But you know what? Those always feel nice to get off the schneid a little bit. You know,
listen, I'm gonna tell you something.
The get right game is what we call those.
I'm gonna tell you something. The Guardians' schedule to start the year is the reason why they're. 100%. I feel like they're a favorite to go to the World Series. They 100%. Started with the softest schedule imaginable, and what they did with that soft schedule, they played those teams, and they played above. You know, they played up to the level. They didn't play down to the level of their competition. They played up to the level of champions of a successful team, and they rode that confidence, knowing that they know how to play the same game that even the biggest and the best players play. And that's how I think that mentality and that psyche, that's been the driving force behind their success this season, which is why, absent a series against the Astros, which I think just have our number, I think they can go to the World Series, and I think they can shock the world. I am not, if I'm a Guardians fan, I'm not afraid of facing the Yankees or any of our division titles. It's something about the Astros that I think, even going back to 2017, where I guess the scandal started with us, I think the Astros present a problem for us that we just can't seem to solve.
Yeah, no,
with anybody else.
It really kind of appeared that way also.
Yeah. So. But as far as the world of professional wrestling, final thoughts, watch that Mr. McMahon documentary. You'll see why I think Shane McMahon to AEW is, at this point, I think has to happen. Be on the lookout to see what they say about Braun Strowman. I think he's really hurt. And I don't know what plans are changed because Braun is hurt. Big Bronson is still on his way. Perhaps, I think that's why Seth Rollins came out there tonight. Maybe there was a call on the fly to make that happen.
Interesting. You very well could be right on that. On my end, I thought it was, despite that, if that turns out to be true, it was well played. Again, I didn't like, what Priest did. But outside, again, I think everything is lining up, and we'll see what happens over the weekend with when we return, matter of fact.
Yes.
On Saturday. But outside of that, that's all I got for tonight. So, as always, we do return on Saturday to talk all things sports, of course. And we'll be able to tell you about quite a bit about playoff baseball at that point.
Yep.
Some college football.
And the pro game and other sports.
Absolutely.
Be on the lookout too for more content from us on the socials. For you to pass the day, pass the time during your work day. You want a break from the work day. You want a distraction. Hopefully, a healthy, valuable distraction. A little bit of your time, more content for us, more opinions, and engage with us too. I can debate with this guy to my left, or to your left, my left, or whomever's left. I can debate with this guy all day long, but let's hear what you got to say. You know what I mean? I'd be interested to hear your thoughts and the banner back and forth. Like Detroit fan, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. So thanks for being with us. Thanks for rocking with us until later in the evening. And until next time, like the host always says, if you really want to know what's going on, come to the shop. Walk-ins are always welcome.
Holla.
Holla.